Your alarm goes off, and your eyes are barely even open. You haven't moved, haven't spoken, haven't had a single thought. And somehow, before any of that, your hand is already reaching for your phone. You didn't decide to do it. It's all just automatic. And here's the strange part. That wasn't an accident. Welcome to Information Station, where everyday things turn out to have surprisingly deep stories. Today's stop, the real reason you grab your phone first thing every morning, and why. And once you understand the system behind it, it's really hard to be mad at yourself for doing it. Every few months, some expert publishes an article with a headline like, "Stop checking your phone first thing in the morning." It gets shared millions of times. People nod, and then the next morning, they check their phone first thing. Because calling it a bad habit misses the point entirely. What is actually happening when your hand finds your phone at 6 a.m. is not laziness. It's neuroscience, and it was engineered into you on purpose. Here is where biology enters the picture in our story. When you wake up, your brain goes through a very specific transition. You move from sleep, where your brain runs its maintenance cycle, consolidating memories, clearing waste, to wakefulness, where it suddenly needs one piece of information. Is anything urgent happening right now? This triggers something called the cortisol awakening response. And it's not random. Within the first 30 to 45 minutes of waking, your cortisol levels spike by roughly 50%. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, but that's not exactly right. It's really an alertness and motivation signal. It's your brain saying, wake up, pay attention, decide what matters. And here's the critical detail. During that cortisol window, your brain is actively scanning for important information. It's looking for input, and it's asking, what is happening and what do I need to know? Now, your phone, with its notifications, messages, and alerts, is a ready-made answer to that very question. It feels urgent because, to your waking brain, finding out what's there actually is urgent. That's not you being distracted. That's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do, and pointed at exactly the wrong things. But cortisol explains the alertness. It doesn't explain the pull. And here's where it gets interesting. When you reach for your phone in the morning, you don't know what's on it. Maybe there's a message or someone replied to something you posted, or maybe there's nothing at all. And that uncertainty? That's not a bug. That's the feature. Psychologists call this the variable reward mechanism. The idea goes back to B.F. Skinner, an influential American psychologist, behaviorist, and inventor who discovered that animals will press a lever compulsively when the reward is unpredictable. Not every time, just sometimes. The inconsistency is what drives the behavior. If the reward came every single time, you'd press the lever, get your pellet, and move on. But when the reward is random, you can't stop pressing. Now, you're not addicted to your phones. You're addicted to the possibility of what might be on it. Social media platforms, messaging apps, email clients, all of them are built around this exact mechanic. The red notification badge, the pull to refresh, the alert that tells you someone reacted to something you posted 2 days ago. Each one is a lever, and the reward is variable by design. And if you're enjoying this video so far, take a second to subscribe. I make videos like this to explain big ideas in a simple way. Here's where things get truly mind-bending, because this wasn't discovered by accident. It was built. In 2006, a designer named Asa Raskin invented Infinite Scroll, the feed that never ends. No page breaks, no stopping points, just more. He created it to make browsing easier, and years later, he said something remarkable. He wished that he hadn't built it. He estimates Infinite Scroll costs humanity around 200,000 hours of attention every single day. That is one designer of one feature. One decision, still running on every phone in the world. And Tristan Harris, who spent years working at Google as a design ethicist, described smartphones as a slot machine in your pocket. That's not hyperbole, because slot machines work on variable rewards. The sounds, the lights, the near misses, all engineered to keep you pulling the lever. Your phone's morning notification stack works identically. Sometimes it's something important. Usually, it's not. But your brain can't know until you look, so it tells you to look every time. Now, the companies building these apps didn't stumble onto this idea. They hired behavioral psychologists. They ran A/B tests on notification timing, badge colors, and alert sounds. And that morning moment, when your cortisol is spiking and your brain is hungry for input, that window of time was identified, studied, and targeted. Here's the bigger story, though. This isn't about blame. It's about understanding who made the decision you think you're making. When you reach for your phone before you've said a word to another human being, before you've had a single thought of your own, before you've decided what kind of day you want to have, you're responding to a system that was built, tested, refined, and deployed specifically for that moment. It's the moment your brain is most open, most alert, and most ready to be rewarded. And in some ways, it's a genuinely impressive feat of engineering. The same cortisol spike that kept your ancestors alert to predators at dawn is now being redirected toward checking if someone replied to your comment. That's not a character flaw. That's just what happens when ancient biology meets modern design. So the next time you wake up and your hand is already on your phone before your eyes are fully open, remember, you didn't make that choice entirely alone. Your cortisol was already rising. Your brain was already searching for inputs, and a system designed by engineers and psychologists was waiting to answer it. So the phone didn't win. The system did. And that is the real reason you grab your phone first thing every morning. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.